Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark from the United States.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Mark from the States. How we doing today? I am doing fantastic. I hope you are as well. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate each and every one of you. Come sit with me on this big fake couch. Today's video by Navy TV has come massively requested. And I think I've done a video on this submarine. That's what we're watching today. It's the Dreadnought class submarines. But it was I think it was about a year or so ago. And things have changed. More information has come out. So we're going to watch this more recent video. And hopefully we get a little more information than that first one. If you're curious to see what it was, the video we saw a year ago, you can go back on the channel and just look for it. If I can remember, I'll put the link on it, but I have a feeling I'll probably forget. But before we continue, you got to go support Navy TV. We did a video on their aircraft carrier, and it was pretty awesome. And so please go and support the original content creator. As always, super, super duper important. A lot of you have, in the comments, told me about things about this sub, briefly, of course. And one of the things that sticks out is that the U.S. is upset that you're not sharing the technology. And when I say you, I don't mean you personally, obviously. I laugh at that. So, and as soon as we find out a little bit more, maybe I'll comment on it. But it's funny. I mean, of course, you're our friends. You should share everything. I don't think you should. Honestly, I don't think you should share everything. You've got to keep some things to yourselves. And I know the United States does as well, along with every other country in the world. Yes, we are allies. We are brothers. We are, basically one gigantic, awesome, massive monster of a military together. But of course, we got to keep some things, right? I mean, that it only makes sense. So I wonder how upset they are, I guess. Maybe is what I'm wondering. Anyway, come sit. Let's get into this. Thank you to all of you. And I, again, encourage you to go to the original content creator, watch it, come back, point out the things I'm inevitably going to miss. Again, I think I've already done a video on this, but I'm expecting to get some new information here. So this should be very cool. And plus, I don't remember anything. Let's be honest. I don't remember a thing. I just remember the name because Dreadnought is the coolest name ever for anything that is on the ocean or under it, for that matter. So that's what I remember. I know we've done something on Dreadnought Submarine somewhere down the line. So go check that out. Go find it, and you can let me know if it's even worth going back and looking at it. But so yes, go do that. But in the meantime, let's watch this and see what we find out. All right, cool.
It will only take one of the UK's new Dreadnought nuclear submarines to wipe out just about any country off the face of planet Earth.
What?
It will only take one of the UK's new Dreadnought nuclear submarines to wipe out just about any country off the face of planet Earth.
Okay.
And they're building 4 of them. But it's not their nuclear missiles that has caused outrage right through the United States military chain of command. It's
who is that guy? Excuse me. Sorry.
That has caused outrage.
Is that General Miley? Joint Chiefs, I think. He works in the Pentagon, I believe.
Right through the United States military chain of command. It's the stealth capabilities that the UK refused to share with their friends across the pond. The US...
Well, that's not nice. How dare you? I imagine, yeah, we're allies, we're partners. I imagine you've got to keep some things close to the vest, right? You can't give away all your secrets just because, there was a time in history that we weren't friends. Now, I don't ever seeing us not being friends, at least in my lifetime, or even my child's lifetime. But, you know, you can't give away everything. You gotta, right? And stealth technology. It's not like we give away. Heck, we won't even. It's the same. I don't know why the U.S. Of course, the U.S. is going to be mad because they expect, we're sitting on this, pedestal here. But it's the same with the F-22. It's not like we'll sell all the other aircraft all day long. Even with the F-35, which was a joint venture with the UK and a few other countries. Yeah, that's got stealth, but there's something different about the F-22 Raptor. No one's ever getting that. So it's not like we haven't done something like that either. It's not like the UK's got F-22s. So, yeah, I could see it. I like it. I love it. I love it.
Has the right to be furious because these stealth capabilities make the Dreadnought class the stealthiest submarines in the world. And of course, this is the most important feature of any submarine. They're not called the silent service for nothing. Jack and I are going to give an in-depth look at the Royal Navy's most advanced submarine of all time. We'll talk about the innovative facilities that improve crew welfare, the sheer...
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Modern gym facilities for the crew, including exercise bikes, rowers, weights, okay? All right. For the first time in a Royal Navy submarine, there will be a classroom study area. Interesting.
Facilities that improve crew welfare.
Okay, before it changes, the doctor works from a designated sick bay, conducting routine checkups, dispensing medicines, and could care for a major casualty if required.
The sheer power of the nuclear missiles on board, and what that would look like for His Majesty's enemies, and the cutting-edge stealth capabilities that set the Dreadnought apart from every other submarine under the surface.
Okay.
So, Jack, are you ready?
I can't wait.
The name Dreadnoughts in the Royal Navy goes all the way back to the 16th century. The first Dreadnought fought under Sir Francis Drake against the Spanish Armada. The name itself means to dread not, or fear nothing.
But I think the most famous Dreadnought is the battleship that was launched in 1906. She completely revolutionized battleship design and rendered every battleship that came before her obsolete.
The first nuclear-powered submarine that the Royal Navy operated was given the prestigious name HMS Dreadnought, and so it's apt that the next generation of nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines are named the Dreadnought class.
But, James, why are submarines so important to navies today?
Yeah, great question. Submarines are effective because they can strike their enemy without being seen. They can attack targets in the water and on land. Some submarines carry nuclear weapons that make them even more devastating to their enemies. A lot of work goes into helping surface vessels locate submarines, and a lot of work goes into making submarines harder to locate. But it's the stealth capability that sets the Dreadnought apart from submarines that other countries operate.
So the Dreadnought class are what's known as nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines, or SSBNs. Nuclear power effectively gives them an unlimited range. They won't need to be refueled over their 35 to 40-year lifespan. Only a handful of countries have the capability of building and operating nuclear-powered submarines.
U.S., Russia. U.S. has got 71? Jeez. India has got 2? Come on. Wow. Yeah, it's nuts. That's the U.S. aircraft carriers are nuclear powered as well. And yeah, they could literally never need to refuel. The only problem is that people need to refuel with food and water. So you're always going to need to stop and come ashore to refuel, or to restock, right? It's the people that make these things have the limit that they do on how long the deployments are. But yeah, essentially, once the robots go into service, they'll never need to come back ever. Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
And they're expensive too. Each submarine is going to cost around 7.75 billion pounds, or $9.75 billion.
Dang.
That's over twice the cost of the Royal Navy's Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carriers.
The dreadnought submarines will have a displacement of 17,000 tons, a length of 153 meters, and a beam of 12.8 meters. They'll be some of the largest submarines in service in the world.
But a boat that big is going to require a huge crew to run it. How many people will be on board?
The boat's company will be 130 men and women, and the dreadnought submarines will offer some fantastic facilities that previous boats haven't.
Yeah, there's much more emphasis on crew
130, first sub to be built with separate quarters and toilets for women. It's so wild. Here we are in 2023 when these were being built, I guess, or maybe even earlier. And would we learn that it's the first one to have a gym? Okay. I guess maybe, I mean, you're not going to take up space for a gym. I get it. Totally get it. First for like a study room or like a classroom, if you will. Would imagine, would think a lot of rooms can be converted, like say the mess hall, like where you eat, the dining quarters, that can be converted into a classroom. So it's not technically, you didn't have a place to do a training or a briefing or anything like that. And what was the last one? Like a sick bay, which is, I get, with a doctor. So, wild, that's cool. And it's now the first to have, it's the first Royal Navy. I assume the Americans already have these, otherwise they'd be seen first in the world, I guess, to have separate facilities. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. 130, that's a lot of people to be underwater together.
welfare. The
3
new
chefs.
submarines will use
That's
a
cool.
cutting-edge lighting system that will simulate day and night. They'll have a medical center, a dedicated study area, and even a gym that has bikes, rowers, treadmills, cross-trainers, and weight benches.
The crew are going to come back from their deployment fitter than when they left.
But it's not only that. These
That
will be
is
the first
awesome.
submarines that are designed with women in mind. They'll have separate female crew quarters, toilets, and washing facilities.
All they need now is a couple of windows, and it'll be just like being on a surface vessel.
Yeah, I think windows would be a great morale booster. The first of these submarines is expected into service in the early 2030s.
So that's pretty crazy. I've never even thought about that. Yeah, when you're underwater, you do kind of lose track of daytime, nighttime. That is awesome. That sort of thing to kind of keep your body in sync with time. That is brilliant, actually. Now that I'm sitting there putting a lot more thought about it, because yeah, you'd spend months underwater, or weeks, or however long deployments are, without really seeing, unless you surface, without really seeing, and it's probably all just light. The same. That is so cool. Wow.
And for what might be the first time ever, they're actually running on time and on budget.
Now it's time to look at the armament on board these
That's a big
next-generation
deal.
city levelers. How much damage could they actually do? Well, they have 4 torpedo tubes that can fire the Spearfish torpedoes. Torpedoes can be fired at surface vessels and other submarines. But they will also have 12 ballistic missile tubes that can launch the Trident D5 missiles. Each dreadnought submarine will carry 8 to 12 of these nuclear missiles and ensure that the UK maintains a continuous at-sea deterrent. And James, Do you want to explain what the continuous at sea deterrent is?
The UK has had a ballistic missile submarine armed with nuclear missiles at sea since 1969.
Wow.
It guarantees mutually assured destruction if
Sure.
another nuclear power were to fire on the UK.
Sure.
Actually, I have a fun fact for you, Jack. Each Trident sub has a handwritten letter for the commanding officer from the Prime Minister with details of what to do in case Britain has been attacked and there's nobody left to give orders. It's thought that the letter could contain 4 options: retaliate, don't retaliate, use your own judgment, or place the command of the submarine under US or Australian command.
Maybe fun fact isn't the right word given the context, but it was certainly interesting. Each Trident D5 missile has a range of 4,000 nautical miles.
That would be interesting to have if that's really what it says. Of course, none of us are going to really know what it says. But, I mean, to, of course, retaliate, not retaliate, go under the command of, join. I mean, if Britain's getting hit, really, that's it for everybody. I hate to even think about it, but you will then, all the allies would have to, combine all their resources after everything that's happened.
And can hit a target with an accuracy to within meters.
And just to put that into perspective, 4,000 nautical miles is 4,600 miles, or about the distance between the UK and China.
Exactly. Each Trident D5 missile has an explosive yield of around 100 kilotons. It's said that just one missile could wipe out a large city, and each submarine will carry up to 12 missiles.
Yikes.
I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that.
Mutually assured destruction is both extremely frightening and extremely reassuring.
I agree. Okay, now let's talk about the stealth capabilities that sets the Dreadnought submarines apart from all others. So, like we've already said, the purpose of these submarines is to stay completely hidden. There's only a couple of people that actually know their current location at any given time. Think of it like a big game of hide and seek, and the submarine service are reigning champions 60-odd years running. But how do they achieve this level of stealth?
Submarines stay hidden underwater by being extremely silent and by reducing the reflections of active sonar sound waves. Remember, if a submarine can't be heard, then it can't be attacked. Silence is the best defense mechanism. It's not like an enemy submarine can just look out of a window to see where you are.
Maybe we should explain the 2 types of sonar for our viewers. Submarines use passive sonar and active sonar to locate objects in the water. Passive sonar is an underwater microphone that listens for sounds like engines, propellers, or angry Russian shouting. And active sonar emits pulses of sounds and listens for echoes.
So, to avoid passive sonar, reduce the noise, and to avoid active sonar, reduce the reflections of sound?
Exactly. The Dreadnought has made significant changes to avoid both types of sonar detection. These changes have been so effective that there was talk that the US was angry with the UK for not sharing these secrets with them. It's not like the US to be behind the curve when it comes to military tech, is it, Jack?
It isn't. Why didn't you share your secrets with us, James?
We've got to keep...
Yeah, James. Like I mentioned before, I mean, you can't give away everything. Just anytime someone says, well, and just say, well, let us have the F-22. Well, and then you can take that and improve on it and put your own stuff in it and make it even better, like you normally do. So, yeah, and the U.S. will go, no, we'll keep the F-22. Yeah, that's, I'd like to know how true is that? How are they really upset? Yeah, they're probably like, hey, aren't we partners? But, yeah, I guarantee the U.S. has got a lot of stuff they're not divulging it to their friends either. I think it's incredible, though.
some things for ourselves. It's not personal. So, to reduce the noise, there's been a few changes. So instead of a steam turbine driving the propulsor, the dreadnoughts use the Rolls-Royce PW3 nuclear reactor to generate electricity, which is then used to drive the propulsor. This is much quieter, but there's also been updates to the pumpjet propulsor to make it even quieter, especially at higher speeds. And the entire shape is inspired by whales to reduce the drag and noise.
And to reduce reflections, the biggest difference is the double hull design. A double hull isn't uncommon under the water. Russia and China both have submarines with a double hull design. But the dreadnought is different because the outer layer is thin and shaped to deflect active sonar, whereas the outer layer on other submarines is intended to act as an extra layer of protection against torpedoes. The dreadnought's outer layer is shaped with sloping sides extending down the full length of the hull, so it's much better at deflecting active sonar than other submarine designs.
Yeah, the outer hull shape behaves a lot like a stealth fighter plane.
But this outer shell is also covered in anechoic tiles. Anechoic just means without echo. And the space between the inner and outer hull is stuffed with more anechoic materials.
The UK is lucky to have such an incredible set of submarines entering the Royal Navy service, and I'm sure it'll be a great replacement for the current continuous at sea deterrent, the Vanguard class.
And they've also got a fantastic, well-trained and dedicated crew that put themselves through huge strain to protect their country.
Very well said. I completely agree. If you've enjoyed our deep dive into the Dreadnought class submarines, then hit the like button and subscribe to hear Jack and I discuss more ships in the future.
Thanks for watching.
That was pretty awesome. That thing is amazing. And yeah, I am glad someone we call our friends, our brother, our family has one of those. Or what, 4 of them? Or at least going to be 4, I think. I think I saw that they just completing the 3rd one. Holy moly, the thing is a beast. So yeah, nothing seems to compare with it in the world. So that's cool. And you've got to keep that technology. Do not give it to the Americans. Plead with your leaders. Do not share that technology. Keep it for yourself. I think that's awesome. It helps spur innovation amongst us, amongst ourselves, you know. And yeah, it's nice. It's nice to know that there's something like that under the water. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Kind of interesting, though. Some of the things that have stuck out in my mind is the first time on a Royal sub that they have a gym. I'm assuming the American subs have gyms. It's not going to be the gym that we all know we associate with a gym workouts. It's probably just a little space that has, as big as these things are, they still space is at a premium, I'm assuming. So in the past, it wasn't always, but it's, I assume every space is, inch of the boat has to be utilized and used for something. So it's interesting to see they now have a gym. So it's probably state-of-the-art facility, with all the equipment. I assume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I assume earlier subs in the Royal Navy had weights and stuff like that to keep fit. I'm sure they didn't have a designated space per se for it. Also, they said they now have study rooms, conference or classrooms kind of thing. Again, it's probably they had, like, for instance, the mess hall, the place where you go and eat dinner or lunch or whatever, that can be converted. When you're not feeding people in there, you can certainly convert it to a training or a briefing area. So now they just have a designated space for that. And probably the best thing of all is they now have a dedicated sick bay where they can, with a doctor and all the equipment. So that's cool. And now they have separate showers, separate quarters for the women. Kind of cool, I have to say. Kind of cool. Yeah, you always wonder it's one thing intermingling men and women on ships. You just still have, since you can go out up on deck, and you always have that, at least the illusion of space. When you're in a sub, that doesn't, at least I don't think, would be true. You don't really have that illusion of space, of your own space. But cool that they did that. Allows probably for a happier crew, I imagine. And then probably the coolest thing of all is the whole day-night thing, where it allows your body to just stay in sync with time. Oh my gosh, that is the coolest of the cool. Yeah, really, really good deal. So yeah, I don't recall learning any of that in the previous video. Maybe I did. I don't know, but I didn't remember it. Really cool. Thank you for the suggestion. This was a right cool video. So awesome. Thanks for coming. Hope everybody's happy, healthy, and safe. What do you guys think? You think you should share it? Share the technology? You gonna let us borrow one? Take it for a spin? All right, everyone. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.
Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark. Yeah.